Hey, what's up? I'm Mike.
And I'm Ray.
And it's the
Know Nothings podcast, and we're here for you.
Hey, everybody, just go to YouTube and search Know Nothings 2022.
And Know Nothings 2022. We should have made that easier, maybe.
Just hit the old, smash the old subscribe button. Do that.
Yeah, we're having much more traction on our TikTok than our YouTube, so jump on over there.
I think my camera's a little off.
But yeah, last week we were all down the wormhole of
I'm gonna fix this.
People selling their soul, and we really didn't talk about all the people that we talked about Robert Johnson, and we talked about Black Sabbath as we got to talking about that, and as the days went on and we weren't podcasting, Mike started doing a little research, I started doing a little research, and the amount of artists that have alleged to sell their souls is not only is it a staggering amount of them. The ones that sell their soul, they're all like the most massive stars you could ever.
I just started thinking about it, and I like every time I watched a television show, like I was watching this new show by Bill Nye, the science guy, and I was like, I bet Bill Nye sold his soul to the devil to be the science nerd of our century.
No one even cared that much about science until him.
No.
I mean, there's a few geeks like us that like it.
Also, the show is like doom and gloom too, so it's like to scare everybody. It's like Bill Nye, the science guy, shows everybody how the world's gonna end in 12 episodes.
See, but my theory always been the soldier soul is like code for like joining the Illuminati, because there's not really I don't really believe that there's like a soul to sell. But gosh, the deals they get. Robert Johnson comes back, he's like the greatest blues player ever from a mediocre player,
right?
David, so let's go down this list.
Well, okay, let's go down the list here in a second. Here, I tested it out. I tested the theory out. So, I was like, hey, maybe I should sell my soul, and I'm going to write some better songs than what I write.
Please tell me you're lying, because I'm going to have to get out of this room.
So I picked up the guitar, and I looked at Kylie, and I was like, I'm going to play this one note and just start singing and tell me if it worked. So I was ding, 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 and I started singing. Didn't work. For a second, I thought it did, because it was actually kind of cool for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Then I just went downhill with it.
Downhill fast.
Way downhill with it. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Well, I don't know if that was the best way to test it.
I didn't say it. I just was like, oh, the transaction hasn't gone through yet.
If you actually sold your soul, I think you pick it. They say you pick it up, and it's like, although these were already good musicians, but they pick it up, and it's like it's another level.
I think it would be like, if I was to grab the guitar right now and start playing a song, I think it magically, I think whatever that is, I think whatever I play, because like all these songs are like 3-chord songs, and it's just like there's not a lot to them.
What songs?
I think it kind of enchants you.
What songs?
What's the guy's name? I said he sings Montero and like all those.
Yeah, but not all the people that.
I mean, that guy even he shimmies down a stripper pole to hell and gives.
But the people that sold their soul,
gives the devil a lap dance.
The artists that sold their soul all did like crazy artistic stuff, like way beyond 3 chords.
But that's true. But not now. The music is so simple now.
Now it's the Island Boys.
Now if you like, even everybody's gonna hate on me. Like even the Weeknd or like all those songs. They're not complicated.
Oh no,
they're three chords. They just put a lot of like synth in them.
But things don't have to be complicated to be good at all.
Right. Well, for me to listen.
That's a nerd musician thing to like, and that's why musicians.
I'm a nerd.
That's why some musicians can't ever get shit done, because they're constantly like nothing sounds right, and they're not making themselves a 15-year-old kid. They're making themselves a 38-year-old musician who's been playing for 25 years. And they're like, no, that sucks. But it might rule if you just let it go.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think
not
that it kind of
I know.
I think it kind of enchants everyone that listens to it. Like, I remember watching this thing where they said they would take the masters of like master tapes that they record into a room and like perform rituals with these master tapes. So when they played them over the radio, these like, the spells or demons or whatever would be manifested, and you would like the music and be drawn to it. Which, I mean, I've listened to music before. It gives me chill bumps and all that kind of stuff.
Everybody on this list gives me chill bumps.
Yeah, okay, so let's go with the list. Go with the list.
These are I guess your 10 biggest artists who have either claimed to sell their soul, or have made reference to selling their soul, or have done interviews about selling their soul. And you can be the judge of whether you think they were successful or not after they sold their soul based on who they are. Dave, and think about this. Remember when you sell your soul, there's the trade-off.
Yeah.
So think about whether these people died young, experienced tragedy, things like that happened, and if they achieved worldwide global fame, because that's kind of the trade-off.
Let me interject here too, because it doesn't just stick with music. I mean,
it could be anything.
Think about how amazing Michael Jordan was. Then his dad died. His dad got murdered.
Yeah.
Later.
In a
so
carjacking.
he had a long time where he was on top. I mean, he really did a lot. Michael
did more than
Michael
anybody.
Jordan was amazing.
Well, nobody has to argue that. Yeah.
But then who? Kobe in the crash with his
Kobe
daughter.
in the crash with his daughter.
Did he sell his soul and say? Did he sell his soul and say, "I want to be as good as Michael Jordan"? But they were like, "Well, Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan."
Ray Lewis, the greatest linebacker ever, he gets caught up in a murder case his first year in the league. Right?
Yeah. It's I don't know. It just seems like a lot of. Wouldn't you think that if you were famous like that, you would have enough about you to like not get caught up in some BS?
But they're not famous when they sell their soul. And when you sell your soul, they say you're not famous. And the trade-off is, I want to be famous, or I want to be great at this, or I want to be exceptional at this, I want to be the best ever. And you get that the trade. You don't get a say on. What do you mean you have control? You don't get a say on the bad stuff that's going to happen. What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying, like what I'm saying is you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
No, I'm like what I'm saying is that if you got that famous without selling your soul, you would stay out of the BS.
Which that's the ones.
Which a lot of them do.
The ones that get famous that don't sell their soul do that.
I've always said that things that happen are made to happen. I mean, think about
or someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the Titanic. They didn't. I honestly believe the Titanic wasn't sunk by. I mean, I believe they hit an iceberg, but I think it was steered into an iceberg because the most powerful people in the world were on that boat, and they were all dead. They all died.
Yeah.
They were the ones that could stop the Federal Reserve. So they all got free tickets on this big boat, and they sunk that boat. They probably killed them before it was even sunk.
Well, a lot of them didn't die though.
No. Which ones?
All the survivors that got off the boat?
No, I'm talking about though the people that could have stopped the Federal Reserve. They all died.
Oh, everybody that could have stopped the Federal Reserve, they all died.
They were dead before it even hit the freaking iceberg. I bet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were sliced.
They were done.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hello, come out, Mr. Rockefeller." No, he's not in there.
There was not a Rockefeller on there, though, right? To be clear.
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
I don't know. That's the only powerful name. That's the only powerful name I know.
There were people there attached to the Federal Reserve or doing something with it that died. I know that, but I was like, I don't think there was a Rockefeller.
No, there wasn't. That was just a name I was saying.
So first, these are all people that have they themselves said, "Yeah, I did," and it is what it is at this point. Like shit's. They kind of wish, or they kind of had regret after the fact. But guess what? They're not going to give you the $20 million in the world fame, and then you go, "I changed my mind." You don't get to change your mind at that point.
No, you don't get to change your mind.
They all change their mind once they get the gold ring. That's when they're like, "I don't want to do that anymore." It's too late.
It's too late.
Done.
You have got to go with the obligation.
So let's go with the first.
So do you think? Well, okay, let's go down this list, and then we're going to give like a. Is this a real thing or not?
Well, with each one, let's ask ourselves two questions with each person we discuss. The first one is, did the person achieve fame above and beyond normal levels of fame? That's the first thing we're going to ask. The second thing is, were they marred with tragedies?
Oh shit.
Were they marred with tragedies shortly after, or within, or let's say within before their life should end, did some really bad shit happen? Those are the two questions you kind of have to ask.
All right.
So number one, David Bowie.
Huge. Everyone knows who David Bowie is, even if you don't like his music.
100%.
100%.
And he died younger than he should.
100%.
And he had he had to deal with crazy things about his sexuality during the 70s and 80s when that was not a normal thing. He had to deal with all that.
I believe that's forced on you too.
Yeah.
I believe they make you do all those. I think they make you push an agenda that you don't necessarily would have pushed.
We can say that Bowie obviously checks the boxes.
Obvious.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not. Next one is Mick Jagger. We can definitely say that Mick Jagger checked them. Although, what tragedies have happened to Mick Jagger? He's only, or do we just not know?
I might just not know.
Oh shit!
Oh,
his bass player died in '67.
Yeah, but is that a trade-off of the kind of fame that he's had his entire life?
I wouldn't be willing for you to die to be Mick Jagger. Like that's that's a shitty trade-off.
That's a shitty trade-off. For your bass player?
It sounds great till it's your friend.
But
it's
true.
not like fuck the bass player.
I'm not saying fuck the bass player. I'm just saying, like, usually it's like somebody's dad or their kid. I mean, like, Eric Clapton's kid walked out of a...
Well, that's the only bad thing that I know about Mick Jagger. Maybe there's probably other deep tragedies and shame.
There's a funny thing.
But he certainly achieved the fame above and beyond his
definitely.
peers.
Everybody knows who Mick Jagger is. He can't get no satisfaction. But here's the thing. There's a funny joke on the movie That Thing You Do, or is it That Thing You Do? No. Almost Famous, where Jimmy Kimmel's like their new manager or whatever, and he goes, what do you think, Mick Jagger's gonna be like 60 years old up there doing his thing? And then it's like, yeah, he is.
He's 81 or something.
And he's like, is he gonna be 70 up there doing his thing? And it's like, yeah, there was kind of funny jokes in that movie like that.
But I mean, we might have to dive more into it, what tragedies happen, but otherwise Mick Jagger checks the boxes, right? Next one, John Lennon clearly checks both boxes.
Yes, all of them, more than most.
More than maybe anyone, you could argue. And then his sacrifice was himself. He had to die at 40.
Yeah.
So you get 16 years of unbelievable run.
And also in that deal, it wasn't just 16 years. It was forever. Your music will be adored by everyone, and people will say you were in the greatest band of all time.
I think all three of those that we've named so far are in that. They're all three of those. If you say so far the three, and probably everybody on this list, but those three for sure. If you ask people, hey, give me the 10 greatest artists, and you asked 100 people, 99 of them, these people show up on their list, right? I mean, they're that kind of famous.
That might have to be something we do when we hit the streets.
John Lennon was a known student of Aleister Crowley.
Oh yeah. They were in all that.
And I mean, Aleister Crowley's even featured on the Sgt. Pepper album, as everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Sure. No one doesn't know that. Next one, who's now a Christian, who's a born again Christian, but says he sold his soul. Number 4 on the list, Alice Cooper. Certainly became an alcoholic, a raging alcoholic, almost died from the alcoholism. Obviously, he became the biggest shock rock entertainer that's ever lived, which is what he asked for.
I liked Alice Cooper's songs. I didn't really know which songs were his growing up. Then I went to go see a Motley Crue show, and he opened up for Motley Crue.
And blew them away.
I was blown away by Alice Cooper. Every song he played, I was like, I know this song, and everything he did was so awesome on stage. Like they had a huge guillotine that like chopped off. They had like this huge guillotine that chopped off his head, and then his guitarist held his head up.
I saw that same tour
while he was playing a solo like this with one hand, and that they
should have never been opening for the Crew,
dude. When they were done, half the crowd left.
Oh yeah, Alice Cooper's
we got up and moved to the front. People paid front row seat tickets to watch them, and then left.
Yeah.
And we got up and went to the front.
I'm a huge Alice Cooper guy. I mean, and I know his whole catalog and have been
I am now. I love him.
I've been an admirer of Alice Cooper. Was so fantastic.
But I can see where people in the 60s and 70s were like, oh my God, this guy's a Satanist, because it blew me away now.
What people have to understand, you got to they'll hear something now and go, oh yeah, that's really good. And they don't quite go to that's amazing thing. You got to put yourself in a place where this didn't exist.
Yeah.
It's the same
Everybody
thing.
copied you.
It's the same thing with Sabbath or Zeppelin, right? You go, okay, yeah, right now you may say it's just exceptional, but at that time it had never been done.
Or it doesn't sound exceptional because you're young and you're listening to your music.
Yeah,
and you're just hearing it regurgitated through some band that got all their chops from them.
You're hearing the same 3 songs on the classic rock station for your whole life, so you don't quite get it. Understand when this didn't when there was no Alice Cooper, and there's never been shock rock. It's never existed on Earth, and this guy comes out with guillotines and hanging himself and murders on the stage in 1969 and doing this in clubs. Yeah. This is 30 years before Marilyn Manson, right? 30 years before Marilyn Manson. So you have to go to that place. Imagine it's like the Stone Age, and then there's a Lamborghini. Those are what
I'm sure people left shows. I'm sure people ran out.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was so awesome though, because
when we saw it, I mean, the time used to the show we went, I saw it before then too, but when we saw it then, you know what's going to happen and you understand the gimmick and you understand what's going on. But in 1969, it's real.
nobody knew.
Yeah.
You didn't know what was happening.
That's like, Sabbath going to their hotel and there's like Satanists in the hallway doing chants because they were the Satanists took them as like, this is our band. We finally have a band, because there never was a band like that.
Oh wow!
But fun fact, there was a band.
Fun.
There was a band, and I cannot
B-U-T.
I cannot think of the name of the band. There was a band that was in that similar mode about 6 months before Sabbath. That was just like a local regional band that was doing like metal type of thing. Coven. Their name is Coven.
I've heard of Coven.
Okay, but it gets weirder. They had a guitar player named Oz Osbourne. How crazy is that? And in June of
Really?
In June of
Not copying Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne wasn't a person yet.
Oh, weird.
This is June.
This is weird.
This is June of 1968. This gets weirder. They have a song. Their first track on their album is entitled Black Sabbath.
Oh wow. Oh, so Black Sabbath listened to these guys.
They never heard of them.
So they say.
They say they've never heard of them. The Black Sabbath, it's not the same song. It's a completely different song. It's not near the same song.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't
I'm
have the
just
Devil's
saying. Occam's Razor tells me they listened to them, and then Ozzy was, I'm stealing that guy's name. I'm going to be Ozzy Osbourne.
Oz Osbourne was on the, and this is
Ozzy.
So this is
Ozzy.
This is June of '68. Black Sabbath is still Earth at the time. It wasn't until February when they were Black Sabbath and released Black Sabbath.
Man, Black Sabbath's so good. I'm so glad you turned me on to listen to them.
Yeah.
And I've been, I've been a musician and listening to music forever. I just never went back because of the
They're
fact.
musicians.
Yes, because of the fact that I was just like listening to the new. I was a teenager. I listened to all that 90s stuff, and it all came from Black Sabbath. I had no idea because nobody told me to listen to Black Sabbath.
I should have been around you more as a teen.
Yeah.
And so
You never. Hey, were you at the show at Cedar Creek when we played that dance? Were you there?
I was graduated by
We played. I don't think so, but we played. It was me and Jonathan and Jeffrey, and we were playing
was Jonathan still in school? Because Jonathan was in my
he
class.
was still in school.
Yeah.
We were playing covers, and everybody was having a good time. And then a bunch of people, probably you and some jocks, were started chanting something, and then people were like, "Get out of here!" and y'all get it for y'all to leave or whatever. Not y'all, but do you remember that?
I don't remember, but I believe that it happened, and it would have been me.
They would play some Skinner, and then people enjoyed it, but I guess all the jocks got together as they do in high school and pick on the little musician guys on stage because they're taking everybody's eyes right there, taking the attention away from the sports for the moment.
Yeah,
the one night we've been practicing every night for years. At 16 years old, and then jocks all get together and start yelling at us on stage.
It sounds like an 80s movie.
It was totally an 80s movie. The funny part was Seth sang
I was
song.
a bad character from an 80s movie. True. If I'm just being honest with myself.
But that was really cool doing that. It was totally out of a movie. But anyway, nobody asked me to sell my soul to get super famous.
And you didn't get super famous.
Yeah.
So Alice Cooper, I think he checks the boxes. Next one definitely checks the boxes. Jimmy Page.
All the way.
And Jimmy Page.
What was the tragedy?
Well, the tragedy. Well, one of them was that he got involved in a relationship with a 14-year-old girl, which that we talked about. Remember, I told you he had locked up in hotel rooms.
Oh God!
He was insanely jealous of her. Also, Jimmy Page, part of Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant has to lose his son at 4 years old.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe they had
his best friend and bandmate's son has to die. He gets caught up in a scandal for child rape.
I also just had another thought, real quick.
And John Bonham died. Hello.
He did.
Hello. John Bonham died.
Okay, so here's the other thing. Okay, so say that Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Bonham. Who's the bass player?
John Paul Jones.
Okay, John Paul Jones, not as famous as those guys, but still
rich.
in the band, but as rich. I'm saying those other guys probably sold their soul. The household names. Aerosmith. Who are the two guys in Aerosmith that you know?
Steven Tyler and Joe Perry.
And Joe Perry. Both those guys probably sold their soul to the devil for the fame, because you got to have. It's almost like do you think it's like a thing where you go, I want to be well, my camera's not working. Yeah, that's great. It's almost like a thing where you want to be a household name.
Well, that's the deal. That's what I'm saying. These people, that's the first box they have to check.
Yeah.
Right? If they're not like a household name, then we can't say that they did.
So do you think that like the tragedy heightens?
Oh yeah, as the fame
so there's
grows.
like a scale, and it's like, you want to be this famous, well, so and so has to die. You know what I mean?
I don't think they tell you.
Or you want to be a legend, you have to die. Like Kurt Cobain.
That's right.
Like John Lennon. You die.
All these people that we've named are all in that group.
I know who's all coming up too, though.
So these people that we've named. So here's the deal: there were clubs where people hung around in the 70s and 80s and 60s, right? And they were friends with each other. These were the people that were friends, right? Like, you know how we always say we're not in the club.
Right.
We weren't in that club either. Like, regular guitar players didn't go hang out with them.
No.
They were in their own little special, super famous world. So Jimmy Page definitely had all kinds of bullshit. And he's also a student of Aleister Crowley. He's a huge fan of Aleister Crowley. You know, Jimmy Page owned Aleister Crowley's house, right?
Yes,
You did?
I did know that.
I
watched something on that.
So Jimmy Page, we could say he checks both boxes. Robert Plant's son passed away. John Bonham died. Saying the whole band was of the devil, or whatever, or the Illuminati, whatever we're going to call it. I don't know.
Think Fred Durst sold his soul?
I don't think he got that kind of fame.
I think he did. They were on top of the world in like 1999.
But the soul selling that's why I'm not convinced on the Island Boys, because it's not an 18-month deal.
So you're saying I can be shitty and still be famous?
Yes.
Come on.
But you got to do that the regular way.
Yeah.
Like everybody that gets a hit, or everybody that somebody knows a little bit about, it's not.
Let me ask you this:
as worldwide, everywhere, and forever, and like you have to be viewed as you get viewed as legendary.
As they pop in my head, I'm just gonna say them. Okay, so like Rob Zombie, you think yes?
No, not famous enough.
But he's into all the devil shit.
I know that,
and he's like, no, he's not famous enough. The dude does movies and all kinds of stuff. He's wildly popular.
But he's not on. If you the list I just gave you, if he showed up to that VIP section, they would say They might say hello, Rob.
The funny thing about that is that he is way into the devil shit.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't sell his soul to the devil.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I believe on him.
Yeah, I do believe that.
He's just super talented.
I just remember watching him. He is super talented. Those guys in White Zombie grinded for 10 years in a bus.
Yeah, that's what which a lot of them did.
And nobody even liked them. They were playing to like 2 people. Because they were like, you know, it was like people were like, "What the shit is this?" And it was like 1990.
Well, you know how hard it is though to be a band coming up.
Like, oh yeah,
you play all the rooms, 300, 3, 1, 7, 17, 100. Like it's just part of the deal. Okay,
we were blessed with a lot of hometown heroism though, and like wherever we played in like Shreveport, it packed it out the frame.
Yeah, hometown shows are.
We hometown heroed it a lot.
Yeah, hometown shows can be better. And then the last, so I guess they just did the biggest soul sellers. The last one on the list is
we didn't have our lights on.
Oh, it's okay.
That's fine. We look good.
Yeah, we look fine. The last one is the entire group of Black Sabbath, all 4.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
the list. That's the list from that.
That's the list of the biggest ones, I guess.
Michael Jackson.
He's not on there.
No, I'm just saying though. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna make my list.
This is from a magazine called Classic Rock. So
only classic rock.
So let's go. Let's look at what you want to look at.
Just Google artists that have sold their soul to the devil.
This is 18 people. Which that's the list I read to you before we got on the air. Robert Johnson. He's the first we know of the Crossroads, which we're going. We're going to the Crossroads. We're going to go to the Crossroads. I found it on Google. I'm not selling my soul to the devil or the Illuminati because too much weird shit. Even though I don't believe in the devil, but do believe in the Illuminati. I'm not telling, but I'll go see it. I'll go see the crossroads.
When I make my deal, I'll make sure you're not the guy that's martyred for it.
Yes, please. But I don't think you get to choose. That's what sucks. They just
I don't think you do get to choose.
No, you think
you think you get to choose like a timeline? Because with Michael Jordan, his dad, that was a long time after.
I think the more huge you get, the longer.
This is hey, look, everybody. I know this sounded really insensitive. I know that it's kind of the talk like that does sound insensitive. It's just kind of like a fantasy thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's a terrible tragedy. I watched that show. I cried when his dad died.
The Illuminati
it's
is
awful.
not a fantasy thing.
It's not. But is selling your soul to the devil a fantasy thing?
That's a fantasy thing.
That's a fantasy thing.
But I've always, like I said, I've always thought the soul selling is code for Illuminati.
I think so too.
They're just saying, they're telling that story because it's a funner story. That's because they're openly, all those 5 artists I just named openly tell the stories. Like it's easier. They're not, instead of outing the Illuminati, they just code that with devil.
With the devil.
Yeah.
I've also read and heard where if you watch the funerals.
Is that our screen or the whole room's in there?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we can't get, where's the other?
Cool.
Where's the other screen? It doesn't have the whole room. There. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's what
it backed off. That's what we want. I can fix it here in a second. The whole room looks kind of cool with the back. Okay, anyway. So that camera is all wacky after I hacked it. So anyway, what was I saying? I was saying, shit, you got me with the room. No, so the Illuminati, like that the selling your soul. So, God, I've lost it. I just lost it. I was going somewhere.
The bigger?
Oh, I got it. The funeral.
Okay.
On the funeral, if they're holding the body in the casket on their shoulder, it was a sacrifice for the industry. Please don't kill me. And if they were holding it down here, they were not. So when you go back and look at like Kurt Cobain, I think this, I might be wrong about like the specific which ones were which, but like, so above the shoulder, holding the casket, walking out, sacrifice for the industry. Below, not, is like something that I read. I don't know.
Well, if you read it on the internet, it has to.
Well, the internet's true. Yeah. Everything.
I mean, that doesn't sound crazier than anything else we talk about.
It doesn't.
So anyway, the first one on the list is Robert Johnson. We all know what he did. But was there an Illuminati in the 20s?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess.
I think the Illuminati's been around forever, right?
Okay. Here's the deal. Okay, if it's not the devil, here's a question, which I'm not on the there is a devil side, right? Because it's. But riddle me this, Batman.
All right.
If it's not the devil, how do they become so insanely talented after their deal?
This is true.
Because the Illuminati wouldn't have the power to make you better.
No.
And everything gets better. The show, the musicianship, their interview skills, their looks, their style, everything gets better.
Their vibe.
Everything gets better. Like, and kind of overnight, right?
Yes.
So that's how could the Illuminati do that? Because the Illuminati doesn't have like Robert Johnson, as I told you last time, when he did it. What's going on with that camera?
I am fixing it now. All right, we're good.
When he did it, I've watched actual interviews of people who lived in the town. They were like 100 when they were doing these interviews at 90, and they're like, that boy could barely play 2 chords. I mean, he was an okay little bar picker, he was fine. And he said, he went off for about 14 months. He came back, and that son of a bitch would just throw down a guitar like you never seen. He was one of 100 guys who played a guitar in this little town in Mississippi, right? Said he came back and he's the greatest blues player that was ever in the Delta. They go, and it was like 14 months. They were like, and these are old blues players. They're like, nobody gets that good in 14 months. People don't get that good in 14 years. They said the transformation was crazy.
Well, I've listened to a lot of that, and it sounds like there's 2 people playing the guitar.
Yeah.
That's really odd.
It's just one old long finger dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, Robert Johnson's on there. So it might just Bob Dylan, which was on the last list, right? And Bob Dylan, I saw the interview where he admitted. I remember watching that live.
Well, a lot of them admitted in their songs. Eminem says it in one of his songs.
Theophilus of Adana. You a big fan?
Who?
Theophilus of Adana. That was the most famous musician artist in 538 AD. So 1600 years ago.
I know that you read a lot when we were talking about this before.
He was a cleric in the Catholic Church. He was elected to become a new bishop. Let his rival have the seat of power. He actually wanted to have an ecclesiastical position instead of having all the power and responsibility of a bishop. So he wanted, his was a religious thing. I was thinking he was an artist. Interesting.
But there were a lot of fiddle players, classical dudes, right? That we read.
Yeah, Paganini, which is the most famous. God, that's crazy. I said Paganini. I swear to God.
And there it was.
You saw me scrolling.
Yeah,
the camera,
I saw you.
It had to scroll to that. I said Paganini, and the next one on the list was Niccolo Paganini, which was 1782, became the greatest violinist. Some say still. Many say still.
Really?
Paganini was incredible. He did it. And then you have...
well, look at this. Think about this. Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton, amazing. Everybody knows who Eric Clapton is. Amazing guitar player. His son walks out of how many stories and dies.
And did you hear about the feud that Clapton and Ozzy had last week?
No.
You know they're doing a song together, right? So Clapton and Ozzy are doing a song for Ozzy's new album. Ozzy's doing his new album. He's doing a song with Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, Tony Iommi, Zakk Wylde.
Island Boys.
And not the Island Boys. but it's weird that you say that and that we're talking about this topic because you know what the fight was over? A line in a song where Eric Clapton felt like Ozzy was mocking Jesus.
Really?
And Eric Clapton's like, you can't include that song. You can't include that line in the song because I'm playing guitar on there. And Ozzy's like, I can include the song. I am including the line. It's my line. And he's like, no, man, please don't include that line. I don't like it. It weirds me out. He's like, shouldn't weird you out. It's not that big a deal. I do this kind of shit all the time. He's like, I wish you wouldn't do it. He's like, well, I'm fucking doing it. And they had like a phone conversation or something or in the studio. And then I guess it was maybe understood that line was going to be removed. And then the album's coming out like in a few months, but the masters are already done. The line's definitely still on the album. So Clapton and Ozzy have they're pissed off at each other right now.
Got a little tip. Got a little super tip.
It's Ozzy's album, so Clapton's they've already paid him for the track.
It's over. Done deal, pal. Done deal. It's a done deal. Print it.
I forgot what the line is, but why all of a sudden would Eric Clapton be like so concerned about like, we can't do that? It's mocking Jesus or whatever. Like, he had sold his soul. Now he knows he's getting close to the end. He's like, he's trying to make good.
Do you think they get scared and they try to make good?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he wouldn't. I don't think like 30 years ago Clapton would have thought twice. He'd be like, oh yeah, it's a cool line, leave it. But now all of a sudden in a rock and roll record, he's like, you can't do a line about Jesus.
Who else did you say that went like Christian?
Alice Cooper. He became born again.
Maybe he's a little worried.
Yeah, and Alice Cooper and. I thought that was interesting when I was reading that. I was like, what is Eric Clapton up in arms about? I was like, this is what you do in rock music. And like,
I just don't think, like I said earlier, you know, like I was talking before, when you're in a band and you're good, you have haters anyway. Yeah. And like the haters are people that like you're like people out in the crowd. You got your haters that like your jocks that yell at you.
They just come to be haters. Yeah.
The haters that you got to get over are the industry haters for any reason why they hate you, because they just want money when it comes down to it. They want to make money off of you, but you still have haters. So it's like to reach that amount of stardom in an industry like that, you do have to sacrifice things. One of those things is everything about you and your soul. You know, it's just like we own you. You're going to do all this, and one day we're going to run your dad off the road and shoot him.
Or they don't tell you what they're going to do.
No, but I'm just saying, like, is that it? Is that how the world works? Because that sucks.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, okay, think about it. The Foo Fighters. Kurt Cobain shoots himself. Then, who gets super famous? His wife's band goes right to the top, even though they were
garbage,
terrible. They had to get Billy Corgan to come in and write all of her songs for her. They all sound like Billy Corgan songs,
but not done like Billy Corgan.
Then the Foo Fighters also become the biggest rock group now for the past 20 years.
You say all time, and it's close.
It's all time, almost.
Yeah.
you know? And so then what happens? Taylor Hawkins dies.
But we haven't come across Dave Grohl on any list yet, so maybe he's just because he is super talented.
Dave Grohl plays the devil in Tenacious D. I mean, maybe Dave Grohl is the devil.
I would play
He's such a nice guy, y'all. Yeah, he's such a nice guy because he is the devil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or he's aligned with him. He sold his soul to the devil to be the greatest rock star of our time. Because he really is. He really is one of the coolest dudes of all time.
Shit. Yeah, he's
awesome. And he's so down to earth. Some people can't be like, you just can't have it all, man.
Yeah,
you just can't have it all.
Good looking, great drummer.
They did that scary movie called Hotel 666, and then Taylor died.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's creepy, man.
That's creepy.
Some things are just weird. Maybe he'll show up on this list. Aleister Crowley's next, and then but he's not a musician. Jeff Parsons.
If I die soon, I'm hoping it wasn't for the 5.5 thousand listeners we had on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's not enough. I don't think you're deserving.
It's not enough. It's not enough. Woo! Thank goodness.
Jimmy Page. We are talking John Fian. Okay, see, we don't know some of these guys from the 1500s. Became a Scottish schoolmaster. He was a genius.
Did he bet a fiddle of gold against his soul?
Say I'm better than you. And it's Charlie Daniels when he's singing that song. Is he telling us?
He's telling the story.
Telling the story, the real story.
Maybe.
Know what I mean?
That would be really cool.
That's
maybe not, though. I don't know if I want to give in fully to the mythos that there is a devil and a god. I don't know if I want to give into that just yet.
No, I can't. But it's neat how they weave it into their. Sometimes they weave it into their stories, or they'll weave it into interviews, and they'll say it like when Bob Dylan did his. He was just like, they were like, "What'd you have to? Oh, what'd you have to do?" And he's like, "I had to do some hard things." And they're like, "Hard things like what?" And he was like, "I mean, I had to do what I had to do. I had to give it all up." And they're like, "Oh, you had to give it all up?" You know, he's talking in like kind of coded language, and then they're like, "Give all what up?" And he was like, "You know, to the big guy." And they were like, and so the interviewer doesn't really know where he's going, and the interviewer's like, "Oh, what big guy?" And he was like, "Well, there's only two, so I'll let you figure that out."
Oh man, you know, there's only two.
Yeah. Like, and I mean, it's hard to get much more famous, especially at the time, than Bob Dylan.
Was it?
Yes.
I mean, look, you always have to have connections, no matter what. Then you have to be great.
Yeah.
Then you have to be at least a little good.
Maybe at least good. But he got. Oh yeah, who was bigger than Dylan at the time?
How many people are so great though now? Like, there's a lot of people that play guitar. There's a lot of bands that are great. Your son's band's great.
There's a lot of bands.
They're amazing. Morning Moon.
A lot of bands that are great. But it's still it's just hard to fight through the muck.
There's so many.
30,000 songs a day get released.
That's insane.
You know,
how am I supposed to listen to anything?
I think I've told you this before, but you know what the average 97% of artists, you know what their monthly listeners on Spotify are? 97%. 13.
Your son's band has 10,000. It's 10,000 right now. It's 9,000 something.
It fluctuates based on playlists and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But the average band is like 13. So
go on Spotify and watch Morning Moon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you definitely go.
Listen.
Stream them on YouTube.
Listen. I don't know what I'm saying.
But yeah, 13. So 97%. So if there's 30, so that's when they're talking about music, they say it's this hyper competitive landscape. And they say, but I watched this guy. It was really interesting. We'll get back. He's like, but is it really? He was like, because think about it like this. He goes, there's 30,000 songs released, right, a day. So 30,000 songs, but if 97% of them have 13 listeners, that's 29,100, right? So that's 29,100 songs that aren't getting listened to. So you're actually only competing with 900 songs a day, which is still daunting, right? But it's a little bit less daunting than 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine that.
Well, just think about how many people are doing podcasts.
Probably.
Too. There's a lot.
Oh,
look it up. There's a lot.
I'll have to look it up after we finish this list. We're almost done. Don't know that guy. These are Urbain Grandier, another priest. These priests are up to something. I've been saying the priests are up to something.
They always are.
Let's see.
Hey, did you know that the Vatican pulled all their money out of everything and put it in a bank over there?
Stuffed it in a mattress in the backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that all about? That's scary. When the Vatican starts pulling all their money out of everything and putting it in their mattress, that's not good.
Johann Fust sold his soul because he wanted to be the smartest man in the world and enjoy as many earthly pleasures as possible while he was still alive.
That sounds awesome.
According to records, he sodomized most of his male students.
That's not awesome.
Not awesome. And
I didn't know that he meant worldly pleasures meant sodomizing male students.
Yes, that's what he meant.
Good Lord.
That's what he meant.
What is wrong with people?
You gotta let me get the whole sentence out before you start praising the fella.
I really like this guy. This guy's got it going on. These are things that I would ask about. I want to be the smartest guy and have all the worldly pleasures. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Sodomized all his male.
No, I thought this guy meant that like he was good at like all the From Software video games.
No, as a professor, then he looked down on everyone. Local priest said he was in cahoots with the devil and that his pet dog was a demon. They got really wild in the 1500s. What they were. You think we get into conspiracy theories? Think of the stories they were telling.
It's probably just because his dog barked at a clergyman once.
In 1540, so he did get to live the life he wanted. He did get known as the smartest man. He did have all the earthly pleasures. But in 1540,
really, were they?
He was conducting an alchemic experiment, and his laboratory exploded.
Hey, that sounds about right with the theory there.
And he died. And then So anyway,
well, he did get a lot of earthly pleasures.
That's you. There's 50 different lists you can find of people, but all the ones we named on those artist lists, they certainly got everything they wanted and more.
I like those old timey ones though. Those are the good ones.
Those are the best stories because the priest like he sold his soul. He's not one of us anymore. His dog's an actual demon. His dog's a demon too. Yes, his dog's.
We're gonna hang his dog too.
What about that NPC I sent you yesterday?
Oh, that was crazy.
Was that the craziest shit you've ever seen?
Do you think he did that on a dare? Okay, say what you're talking about.
That's what the guy just stands there. There's a play on live TV in a Division I, or it was either NFL game or Division I game, a major game on TV. Even in junior high, this is unimaginable.
You get taken out.
This is a televised game. There's a play being ran. He just stands there. The whole play, doesn't even move his head or his eyes.
3-point stance the entire time.
Well, a 2-point stance on his knees.
Oh, he's on his knees?
Just like
I thought he was like a 3-point stance.
Like this. Whatever he was, he never moved. The play went on around him. Stuff was happening. Action dudes are coming. Linebackers are running by him, and he just froze. And it went all the way till they ended the play.
It's crazy.
NPCs, man. NPCs are real.
Are they?
Yes. I cannot be convinced. What are these people doing? These random people, they get stuck.
I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of the NPC stuff, but I know what you're talking about. But like,
I've just got to send you more.
I've got to get some. We might have to like play some.
Yeah.
On here.
Pull some on. Yeah, do it now.
We've got a whole show we're doing.
Computer.
I'll pull it up now. Let me go to Google though because. What would you call it? You would call it NPC, like
NPCs.
We need to show the football one first. It doesn't matter. Nobody's watching this.
It's okay. They can, not like they got time to. NPC dominating pro football players. That's a different one.
Let me go to videos. Let me
just put up NPCs because you're never gonna be able to find that exact play.
No, I bet I will. NPC frozen football. No. Where do you find this stuff?
It just comes. It shows up on my timeline.
What? You know what I mean? Like every time I put something in here, it's not even on Google.
I know. I just get the weirdest shit.
What kind of timeline are you living in?
The algorithm has figured out that I'm into all kinds of crazy shit, so I get nothing but crazy shit. So I either get music, weightlifting, football, or crazy shit. That's the only things I get on my timeline. There is nothing.
Let's watch this real quick before we do the NPC.
Okay, go ahead.
Talk about just okay. So Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, that's it.
He the remote control ball. Somebody had a remote control ball while he was trying to putt, and he just gets pissy and he just throws it into the water.
Just chunks it. Yeah, that thing's probably expensive as shit because it's remote control.
Yeah, it's like rolling around lately. There it goes in the water. And then everybody cheers. Everybody claps and cheers. Then here's the guy that was controlling it. Here comes the state trooper, because you can see the state trooper hat. Grabs him up. Then everybody starts booing. Then everyone starts booing. Why do we cheer and then boo? Why are they booing the state policeman for dragging that dude off?
Because they like the lawbreaker. They like the rowdy guy.
I'm trying to find where there it is. Anyway. All right. We're going to go to YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to search NPC. Non-playable characters.
Yeah. Let's watch a few minutes.
Turn this up so maybe people can hear. Okay, so this is what you're talking about right here. Like, these people are.
Yeah, just anybody. I'm sure there'll be great videos. If you haven't seen these NPC videos, you definitely need to watch them.
I'll be crying if I look like that too, bro. That's fucked up what they be doing to y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you, bro. I be saying that's fucked up, like, bro.
I should be like
the full wash and set. It should be fire probably if they ain't cut your shit.
Yes, sir. That sounded fine. Thank you.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, little girls ain't supposed to have candy.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about babies. Yeah, babies don't usually eat candy.
Babies? No,
they did not get the program right on all of us.
Okay, nice to meet you. Okay.
Cute too.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I saw this one. This one's nuts.
It's my fault. Yeah, I know it's my fault. That's why I'm saying sorry.
She thinks it's cute that her driver almost hit my kids, and she thinks she needs to take a video of it instead of apologizing like a saint.
So stopping in the middle of the road is gonna help?
You being a bitch is gonna help?
I didn't say.
I think this is just a Karen slipped in.
Karen slipped in.
Yes.
You gotta find.
Oh wait, no wait, she's doing weird shit.
Yeah.
What I'd like you to do is apologize instead of being a bitch.
You're calling me sorry, but you're calling me a bitch. So set an example.
I'm sorry. My kids can't hear me calling you a bitch.
Your window's open.
They can't hear me because they're listening to Kids Bop.
They're listening to Kids Bop.
Stop.
Can I help you?
Call the judge and get some fudge.
Call the judge and get some fudge? Are you okay?
That does sound like I'm in a video game and they're saying some shit to me.
Call the judge.
Call the judge,
and
get some fudge.
fudge.
That makes 0 sense.
You trying to slide in the DMs? You trying to slide in the DMs? You know Twitter?
She don't know what DMs are.
Call the judge and get the fudge. So guys, if you just joined us, we're watching NPCs in real life. Because I can't explain some of these people that are walking around Earth.
I am not fucking drunk.
Can you tell the time?
I have to tell you something though, real quick. I got into a TikTok hole last night. I mean, it's like a serious 2-hour TikTok hole.
Yeah, I get those all the time.
And
in fact, that's mostly
for
what I watch.
some reason, the algorithm it was throwing me was just the most worst type of people of humanity, and I got super depressed. I got depressed for humanity. I got depressed for people. I like all the ones that I watched just like not make me want to go outside and interact with anyone.
What kind of videos were they?
There were a couple police videos where they're just harassing people for no reason, and that scares the shit out of me.
That's terrible. It's the war, and they're everywhere.
And that scares the shit out of me. And then there were just like people, like there was just people like checking out in a line, and it was just like they're so nasty to like the people that are working there.
Yeah,
and like this NPC shit, like they were so nasty. It was just like, if I saw a man treating a woman that was checking him out in a line and saying things, I might knock that motherfucker out.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Like, for real. Like, I got into that algorithm of all that nastiness.
I think we just have a lot.
And it really brought me down.
You think we just have a lot of mental illness?
I think there's a lot. I think a lot of there was a lady screaming at a guy about how he should repent, and that was totally mental illness. And like, I always try to get, like, I look at the comments,
screaming and cussing too,
and
right?
people, the younger people are like blah 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 blah, talking and like making fun of him stuff. And I always want to post like, guys, this person's mentally ill, man. It's like they're out there.
Yeah,
they should be on medication.
That's
they
like
skip
some
their
of these
medication.
that they're calling NPCs are, I think, are mental illnesses too.
It really is. It's really made me so sad.
But the people
like,
that freeze in the middle of like just
the freezing stuff, like okay.
I built the Crunch Lives website using Shopify.
Good for you.
Website, create product pages.
Who are you?
I'm Detective Mike Jardine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What are you working on? What are you working on right now?
Several cases.
Okay.
What is this about?
Are you working on something right now?
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
All right. What are you working on? What are you working on?
It doesn't matter what I'm working on. I'm asking you, what are you doing here taking pictures?
Where have you been today? Have you been here all day, or have you been out and about a little bit?
What is this about? Who are you?
I'm asking the questions. Where have you been today? Have you been?
I'm asking the questions.
You're not asking any questions.
You're on this property, so you need to answer my questions.
Are you drunk?
This is great.
Your words today?
He's a detective.
Yeah, but he has a right to ask him too.
Yeah.
Or what?
Or what? You're
Or
my property.
This isn't your property.
Shut the hell up. Get out of here now. I said shut up and get out of here.
No, you get out of here now.
Hey, you better get your boy. Get your butt back in your office and do your job.
You shut up and get out.
You get your butt back in your office and do your job.
no.
Hold on.
This is gonna. This is
Okay.
too good.
Okay. We got to stop it right here and say what's going to happen. Right. This is the oddest transaction between someone and a police officer that I've ever seen in my entire life. This guy was like, "You shut the hell up."
He just flipped it on him. He became the cop.
Face. This guy isn't real. This guy isn't real.
He just became the cop.
It's not real.
Yeah, it's great.
Look at his eyes. Look at his dead eyes.
He's like, "What do you?" And he just walked to him because that's what cops do. He just walked. "What are you doing? What are you? Are you working right now? What are you working?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm working." "Oh, what are you working on?"
"Are you drunk?"
"Yeah, because you're slurring your words."
Okay, so let's say
this guy's in charge. Clearly,
this guy's above this guy.
Yeah, of course.
So what's gonna happen?
He's gonna come get his back. He's gonna come get his six like a tough guy.
Do you think the tough guy back here? Do they think they clamp him up, or do you think they let him go?
They can't clamp him up. There's no way. He's too smart for him.
I saw one. Okay, let's watch.
He's got 30 seconds. Let's see what happens.
Drinking on the job. You understand me? You punk ass. You're about a stupid motherfucker, aren't you? You get your ass back in there. You don't look back here again.
Excellent job to the officer that called Mike off. Mike, you might want to thank him for saving him.
That's public property outside the gate.
You understand me?
That's why he can do that. It's not.
I'm watching you.
Oh, that's.
I'll be watching you.
All right, one more. Let me hear this ogre.
This is so good. They're too good.
Okay, we can watch 100 more, but I got to realize, okay, we are on a show. But I'm sure our people that are watching are gonna. They did what?
53 minutes in. That was very strange.
So strange.
That was one of the strangest ones I've ever
NPC
seen.
because he couldn't act like a regular person. An NPC are people that can't act like regular people. And that guy did not know how to act like a regular person. Just like he could have laughed or had fun or done anything that regular people would. He didn't know how.
Within a sea of artificial consciousness, temporary figments of time.
I'm sure. Let's see. Skooma, addicted to Dark Brotherhood initiate, turns hostile.
I don't know what that's about. Let's skip that.
But it's so nuts sounding.
This isn't a real person.
This is not a real person. Or they're on shrooms.
This is the NPC archivist.
Yeah, oh, this is great. We've come... What?
Oh, yeah. He's an NPC. That's not a real person. Look at his feet.
Oh, my God. Look at his feet. Uh-oh, the NPC has spotted a real player.
Get the fuck away from me. I said get the fuck away from me.
This is awesome.
Bitch, nigga, police, bitch.
Might have to mute that when I put it on.
What's he? I don't think you'll have to mute somebody saying something.
I think this guy's just like wackadoo, like drugged out.
I'm not touching you. Okay, what do you want from me?
Take it like a man then.
Take a look.
Look at your nose. Bitch.
This guy's programming's gone.
He's programmed. He's not working. It's not working.
Bye.
There's a glitch, dude.
There's a glitch.
Stop attacking me.
Fight scene. No, not fight scene. Walk scene. This dude's not wearing a shoe. He's got a sock on. He's got 2 socks on. They're different socks. I don't know what to think about this one.
That's what I told you.
Do you think this guy's just like whacked out on drugs, or do you think that,
or is he an NPC?
Or
well, I see him everywhere though. We've talked everywhere I go. I see people. I'm like, they don't seem like they're real people. Everywhere I go.
I do too.
I know you and I have talked about that. So they don't and they can't have normal conversations, or they're just.
I knew a guy years.
Programming's off.
Well, here's the thing. Years ago, I had a friend that I had found on the internet through some weird message boards or whatever, and his name was Jedi, which is weird anyway.
Right.
And we would go do like experiments, like social experiments like this. Now, we didn't call NPCs or anything, but like we go to like a Best Buy and just stand there and talk to each other for like 30 minutes in one spot and just stand there and see how everybody reacted to it. And it was so odd because like people that worked there, people that were in the store, they all made eye contact with us. It was odd.
They all knew.
Like once you were standing there and we were talking and we were like people and we were just standing there talking. We weren't being menacing. We weren't menacing looking.
Yeah.
He's definitely not menacing looking.
Yeah.
And it was just you stay in one place and talk and observe everything that's going around about, and it just seems like everybody like makes note of that. Just kind of like this NPC dude just like locked onto this dude.
Yeah, everybody's
and you just start messing
so
with
like
him.
everybody was kind of locked onto y'all?
Like people that worked there, the manager, all this stuff. We were doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
We were standing there like we were 2 friends talking.
But it went on for 30 minutes.
For 30 minutes in the same spot.
That would weird people out.
Would that weird people out?
Yeah.
Normally?
Yeah, it seems weird. It's not normal behavior. It
Really?
makes you look like an NPC.
Really?
Have you seen the guy who does there's a guy who does videos and he goes in, he does stuff like he'll just come on and he'll go, look, he's like, hey, nothing's real. Nobody's real. Most of these people are NPCs. He's like, seriously, you can say he's like, you can say and do anything you want. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody even knows. Nobody's even paying attention. He goes, literally no one around knows what's going on. He goes, watch this. And he just grabs up like these pamphlets of something and he just walks down the street and he goes and he just walks in the store and he's like, hey, how you doing? Is Bob here? They're like, no, there's no Bob. He's like, oh, cool. Well, look, he just told me to drop these coupons off. I'm just going to set them there and grab me a Coke real quick and like does whatever. And he's like, hey, he's like, did you hear? And he goes, and then he's like, he looks at, he goes, did you hear that Danny DeVito has an OnlyFans? And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, man, Danny DeVito has an OnlyFans. Isn't that weird? He's like, yeah, you can just go like look at his little penguin dick whenever you want. Like, he's doing pretty good with it. And the guy's like, yeah, I bet he is doing pretty good. He goes, because he's a funny guy. He goes, yeah, he is funny. He goes, all right, man, well, there's your coupons. I'll see you later. And he's just walking out. He's like, see what I mean? He's like, nobody had a clue.
I have a story like that. So I was in Sundown, and it was during kind of it was at lunch, and I was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy at the bar just falls out back, hits his head on the ground, and he's out. He's out.
Oh, yeah, you told me this.
And I'd look at everybody, and I looked at the bartender, and they were all standing there like this. And I went, call 911. This guy's out. Call 911. And I ran out to there's a restaurant too. I ran out to the patio, and I bust open the door, and there's probably 30 people sitting out there, right?
Yeah.
And I go, hey, everybody, is there a doctor, a nurse, anybody that's in like an emergency, first responder, anybody that knows any kind of like CPR, anything in here? And 30 people turned around and looked at me like this.
And no one responded.
No one responded. And I went like this. Hey! Are there any first responders or anyone in here? And like they all looked at me like they were zombies. And this one person over here was like, I'm in nursing school. And I went, I'm looking for you, bro. Yeah. Let's get in here. And he's like, oh, okay. And he like got up and he like came in there and they called and then like, but nobody was even calling 911 that worked there. I was like, call 911. I go outside. I try to find someone. I'm like, hey. And like, so they're like,
no
they show
one knew how
this
to-
guy is out. He hit his head. He's out.
It's like no one knew how to conduct life, or
yeah, no one knew what to do. And I was just like,
even with instructions.
Yeah, I was like yelling at her. She was like, "Do I call should I call 9?" I was like, "Yes, call 911 because you're here and you're the bartender. You're in charge.
Yeah.
If you don't call 911 and this guy dies, there's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Call 911.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh my God, they didn't know what to do. It was like 30 people looked at me with the most blank. It was like I was in some scary movie where everybody turned around and it was soulless eyes and went like,
You were in a scary movie. It's called Earth, and they were NPCs. Not all of them, but enough of them where you're like,
enough of them where
how
they.
could so many people not.
It got so quiet, and did I scare them? Did I like yell and scare all the kids?
I don't know.
Like, were they like, "Oh my God, what's this guy saying?" You know, like they just all turned and they didn't even comprehend what I was saying, and I had to like clap my hands.
Understand that they were. Oh yes, I am. Oh yes, I am a first responder. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was like, I'm in, and I was like, I'm looking for you.
Yeah.
Get in here. And then like he was just like, well, the person I'm with is too. She's in the bathroom. I was like, go get her.
Yeah. Obviously,
go. This guy's dying on the floor.
Unbelievable.
He was all right. He ended up going to the hospital.
He got
cracked his head pretty good,
but he's okay.
He was all right.
Well, I won't I can't commit all the way. I'm just saying, to me, it seems like there's a lot of non-playable characters walking about.
I just think people are fucked up. I just think
Like
you think we're in a video game and there's non-playable characters.
I think we've talked that I think we're in a simulation.
I do think we are in a simulation.
If we're in a simulation,
then there's non-playable characters.
Then if you're in a simulation, that's what we believe.
Yeah.
There's obviously NPCs in a simulation.
It's easier.
So it's just more empirical data slanting towards the simulation.
All right. Is this guy the whole time? It is. This is just like 4 minutes of this dude being a complete nut. I can't believe that. I wish I really could find the one you sent me. Look.
The football one? Well,
look it up and we'll end it on that. We'll end it up on that one. Look, this is Are Fake People Living Among Us. Well, this guy's going to talk about it.
I sent it to you on TikTok, so you'd have to hold it up.
Did.
It's on my phone. I sent it to you in a message on TikTok. Here it is, though. You can't see it. I wish there was a way to see it. There's the dude.
Description?
It is CBS Sports. Sports fail. Florida looks like Florida State.
Where is it? Is this it right
here?
here?
Florida State lineman, yeah.
Here it is. Let's hit it. All this ad work. Okay, here we go. Here it is. We'll end on this one.
This is a major game. This is Florida State versus Florida on CBS. Just let people get killed.
What?
One more time.
One more time.
I mean, this is a game probably seen by 12 million people. Florida State on CBS primetime SEC. This is not like a 10-year-old guy that just found out about football. Right. This is a 23-year-old guy probably who's about to be a million. This is an NPC. They just made him big. When they made him big, so he got to do stuff like this. But and he's probably good when you turn him on. Right? When you turn him on.
They forgot to turn him on. Look. Oh my God, it's crazy. This is crazy.
So, anyway, we'll keep. We didn't talking about the moon at all today. We did good.
We did good with no moon.
Four episodes out of 18 where we talked about the moon, but we did. We're gonna revisit NPCs quite a bit because I've got more. I want to.
We'll pull some up and we'll look at some.
There's more I want to know about the simulation in general. There's more I want to know about everything. So I think the podcast can go forever.
We could do a real simulation theory. I've got a book that I can show everybody about how, like, just things about what I've read
if you're
scientifically.
If you're in the simulation, which a lot of really smart people think we are, if you're in the simulation, there has to be NPCs, and they walk amongst us. So anyway, we walk amongst y'all. We're not NPCs. And
go to YouTube.
No Nothings 2022.
Smash the subscribe button.
And follow us on TikTok. No Nothings.
Podcast. That's it.
Rock and roll.
Thanks.